In November 1983, around 800 women came to Alice Springs and camped around the Joint Defence Space Research Facility, which is located at Pine Gap on the outskirts of town. Women sought to draw public attention to global violence and nuclear war. The defence facility was relatively unknown at the time, but it was believed to be part of the system that could select targets for nuclear attack. There were genuine fears that the facility could make Alice Springs a target. Although many people in the 1980s were seeking nuclear disarmament, Pine Gap was dramatically a women's-only protest. It was part of an international women's peace movement and inspired by Greenham Common protests in the UK. The National Pioneer Women's Hall of Fame has a collection of peace protest material relating to Pine Gap. Women for Survival, the Australian National Peace Coalition, coordinated the Pine Gap protests. They used non-violent, creative political interventions such as staging theatre, dance, singing, speeches, and creative work with paint and textiles, such as this applique quilt. As well as these interventions, some protesters also graffitied signs, cut the fence, and trespassed on the vase. 111 women were arrested. Ephemera and papers relating to Pine Gap accompany the collection, notably a copy of Marcia Langton's speech given at the gates of the facility, and a copy of the handbook given to all women attending the camp. The museum also holds a large handmade water tank created from a drum and used at the camp, particularly important given November's 40-degree days. In the following year, Women for Survival organised a second camp at Cockburn Sound in Western Australia. This large quilt, featuring 28 individual squares, was created by women unable to attend. It was pieced together in Alice Springs and sent in solidarity. The Pine Gap protests are perhaps unique because they brought together diverse women from across Australia, and this created tensions as well as creative possibilities. As historian Meg Kellum notes in her article reflecting on the protests, Pine Gap was the first and perhaps only national gathering of Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal women, focusing on a political issue specific to neither gender nor race. The women's peace movement and such camps were central to 1980s feminist activism in Australia.